What's up, team? This is a team that is not a sports team. It's a magic team. What kind of magic team? Well, kind of like a magic team from Space Jam, if you consider the Monstars magic.
Wow, you pulled the Monstars right out of there. I have no idea what that team was called.
What? How? It's the Monstars.
I last saw Space Jam in the year 1982, before it was even released.
One, that's impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
That's very impressive.
I have connections in the industry.
Two, that's a crime.
To see Space Jam. Oh, to not have
to
seen.
have not seen it since then.
When was the last time you watched Space Jam?
It has been within the last 6 years.
Whoa. I thought you were going to say 6 days.
It's been within the last 6 hours. I have always watched Space Jam in the last 6 hours.
Man, if I was animated, I would definitely play professional basketball.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah. If I were Michael Jordan, I would definitely play professional basketball.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think so.
And you're on our team, much like the members of the Looney Tunes.
Yes.
Help out Michael Jordan himself to shoot those sweet, sweet baskets.
That's right.
You help us talk about magic. Because if you weren't there, we'd be talking into a void, essentially.
Yeah. Much like... I didn't have one for there.
Much like the empty net before the basketball enters it.
Yes.
And makes it complete.
Man, every net's just waiting around like, gosh, I hope a basketball comes here.
One day.
Like, nets really need to learn some independence.
Guess what, net? You're good enough. You're enough.
Exactly. You're enough just by yourself.
Welcome to Magic the Amateuring. Thanks for being on our team. We're on your team too, and today this team's Talking Magic, Hour of Devastation specifically.
That's right. We're playing it. Are you playing it? We hope so, because it's great.
Yeah, it's super fun, and we're going to talk our first impressions of Hour of Devastation Limited. We talked about the pre-release last episode in our vlog on our YouTube channel as well. Go check it out, youtube.com/MTAcast. But
why did you say that as though it's a secret? Because it is a secret.
It's the best kept secret in magic, Megan.
By the way, everybody, we have a
YouTube channel. Go look at it. It's a really good channel. Hit subscribe, please. Thank you.
If you're watching this, you've already found it.
Yes. Congratulations. You've done it.
Yeah.
You've done it.
While we're done.
Well, we're done.
After we're done talking about Hour of Devastation Limited, we're going to go ahead and have some story time.
Yes, Megan is all caught up on the magic story related to Hour of Devastation.
That's right.
I haven't been reading it, so I like specifically do not read it because I just love Megan's recap so much. So you're going to get a great recap.
You're going to get a recap of what's going on. Plus, we'll talk, hey, is there anything interesting happening in Standard?
It's a Standard corner, and it's going to be in your life.
Yep.
And we've got a flavor text
just
either.
like many Standard corners.
Yeah, this room has 4 standard corners. Well, I'm going to say 3 standard corners.
3 standard corners and 1 unusual corner.
Yeah. There is something very unusual about one of the corners in this room.
Can you guess which one it is?
And can you guess what the unusual thing is? No, it's not a small child standing with their back to the room. That's not happening.
No. It's
Megan would be right out of here.
Yeah, it would be.
But before we do any of those things, we need to say thank you, of course, to you, our listeners, for continuing to be amazing people and supporting us on patreon.com/MTAcast.
We're also happy that...
What did I say? That we were mad?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're also so happy that you're a patron.
I'm mad that you're... No, I can't even pretend to be mad at you. That's how happy I am.
Thank you so much to everyone who makes this show possible. Gosh.
Megan, you need to eat the rest of that bagel before we do this show. She's got a bagel sitting here uneaten. She's eaten half a bagel today. It is the afternoon, and that's been your only food.
Apparently, recalling the name of the Monstars was like my peak for this episode, and it's just all downhill from there. Like, I peaked early, remembering the name of the monster team from Space Jam, and now, who knows what's gonna happen?
You can go to Patreon and support us at any level from $1 an episode all the way up to 10 or more if you want. I just somehow snorted in that sentence, and I don't quite know how it happened. Normally it only happens when I laugh, but that was while I was talking.
Yeah, it really was.
Megan, am I becoming a pig person?
Do you know what? If you were, I wouldn't tell you.
What? Why?
I don't. Would you want me to tell you?
First of all, I want to know if I'm becoming if I'm a robot. Second of all, I want to know if I'm becoming a pig person so I can hopefully stop it. That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. No, I think I agree that it would like not be great.
You just want to spare me the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Like
before you eat me for my bacon.
What if before I tell you, one, if you became a pig, I would stop eating bacon.
Oh, thank you.
Two, like, I don't think I would tell you until I knew if it was reversible.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, I would find that out for you because it's like, if it's reversible, then I'll tell you and then we can figure out a way to reverse it. Okay. But if it's permanent, like, I'm not going to tell you because there's nothing you can do about it.
You'd be like, Maria, I think you should take that trip to Wales.
Yes.
Just letting you know.
Exactly.
And you should probably pack a bag of mud.
Yeah.
To use when you get there. Anyway, Patreon.
Patreon.com/MTAcast.
Support the show. It means everything to us. And thank you to everyone who's become a new member of the Less Than 1% Club since our last episode. We also have to say a big thank you to cardkingdom.com/MTAcast. Please use our affiliate link if you're going there to buy your cards, which you should, because Card Kingdom is well known as the #1 best place to buy Magic cards in the whole Magic universe. Their customer service is second to none. I just ordered cards from them 2 days ago.
Yeah, and you're going to play those cards on Sunday.
And I'm playing these cards this weekend. So their shipping is really fast. If you ask them to put a MTAcast sticker in the order, they'll do that for you.
Yeah.
They're just super nice, super great, super fast. Cardkingdom.com/MTAcast. It rhymed.
Yeah.
So it has to be true. Hour of Devastation Limited. Those are the sounds in the background of a soft Meghan clapping. Oh, you weren't clapping? You were like punching a fist into your hand? Oh, of Meghan getting down to business, drafting Hour of Devastation. Boom, boom, boom. Sick beats.
That's right. Maria.
Yes.
What have you drafted in Hour of Devastation?
Every card.
Every card?
That's not true. I have not drafted every card, but what I've been trying to do is actively draft as many different kinds of decks as I can. Not only because that's super fun, I just want to see if certain synergies and strategies work in the format. And I've drafted a lot of pretty sweet decks, some of them more successful than others, but all of them sweet. Nonetheless, one of the sweetest was, you were here for this, Meghan, was we drafted first pack one, pick one, Fraying Sanity.
Ooh, that's right.
You got to mill. So this is a rare. So that's the only downside is that, well, it probably should be a rare because you don't want to make this too easy for people to do. But at the end of each end step, your opponent, whoever is enchanted with Fraying Sanity, mills as many cards as have been put into their graveyard this turn. So you're just trying to mill them out. And the deck turned out to be not great, but look, I didn't get everything I needed for it. I needed some of the cards from Amonkhet that like have single blue cycling, and then it causes them to discard. I can't remember what that card is called because literally nobody ever played it.
Or the mill card.
Or which is the mill card?
There's one that cycles or it mills them for 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, that one. And I didn't have any of those, but I did have Seer of the Last Tomorrow, which that's an epic card name, Seer of the Last Tomorrow, which is a 1/4 for a single blue, and you tap it and discard a card. Your opponent mills 3. So that in conjunction with Fraying Sanity is pretty sweet. Winds of Rebuke. It also randomly mills for 2 out of nowhere. So I was just trying to see if this deck could work, and I actually do think it could work. We just didn't get as many of the tools as we needed. Yeah. But we had a fair amount of them, and nearly won our 2 matches that we lost. We lost. But we were almost going to mill them. So I think it's possible. I do think it's pretty tricky. But if you want to try this deck in the format, I think it's there. So
you can try it.
The stars just have to align. So that's been one of my favorites. How about you, Meghan?
I drafted a sick deck that was like 2 Torment of Scarabs.
Sick.
It was just, like a black-white zombies kind of thing with some Hour of Revelation in there.
Oh, yeah.
Action. And you know what? Like, I like Torment of Scarabs.
Torment of Scarabs, I think, is a good card.
Yeah. I do think it belongs more in an aggro deck. Because then it's harder for them to just be like, I'm going to take 3 every turn, which is what some of my opponents did. But eventually, even then, like, as long as you're stable, if they have Torment of Scarabs, like, eventually they can't just keep taking 3. And then you start really eking out some card advantage.
Speaking of black-white zombies, That deck is insane now.
Yeah, if you can get it, it's very good.
Yes, I think people are picking up on the fact that this deck, it was, good in Amonkhet, but now I think it's really good.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of cards to make it even better.
Yes.
So
what are some of your favorite cards that it's picked up?
Okay, so it's picked up a key common, which is always like, if you can find out that there's commons that are coming into a deck that help it be better, that's a big sign that the deck is getting stronger, because you don't even need uncommons for it.
Yeah.
So the number one is Mummy Paramount, which is just a 2/2 for 2, but when you play a zombie or a zombie enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's basically a 3/3 for 2, because in the zombies deck, that's all you're playing.
You're just always putting more zombies into play.
It's just a lot of zombies.
Yeah.
The other common it picked up was Marauding Bone Slasher.
3/3 for 3. Can't block if you don't have any other zombies, but usually
you've got zombies.
It's just a 3/3 for 3.
But also, you don't really want to block in this deck, because it's usually a pretty aggressive deck, which Black-White isn't super known for, but unconventional tactics in this deck is definitely promoting it to be an aggressive attacking deck.
That's the one for a single white. It's a sorcery. Creature gets +3/+3 and flying until end of turn.
It is two and a white, and then it costs a single white to bring it back.
That's right. And then it costs a single white. If you cast a zombie, you can pay a white to bring it back from the graveyard.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
It's so sick. I've been definitely tacticsed to death.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A Cursed Horde is in this deck. Unraveling Mummy, which is the gold card.
Yeah.
The 2/3.
That card is so good.
You need to kill
because
that
it just
card.
means that you can attack all the time, because it gives them death touch, so they can trade with anything.
Yeah, and it gives them lifelink.
Yeah.
So
you're winning
just gives
the race.
them everything.
Yeah.
I gotta say, of all the drafts that I've done, the number one deck that I've played against more than any other deck is the Black-White Zombies deck.
Yeah,
Full
absolutely.
Stop. So I think this deck is kind of like the deck to beat right now. But the good news is that I think that a lot of color combinations are super viable in this format, including blue-green.
Oh, have you drafted some blue-green decks?
Meghan, I had the literal sweetest blue-green deck that could possibly be drafted yesterday.
Oh, yeah? What was it like?
I had a Nissa.
What?
Steward of Elements in there. Picked that up in pack 3. She just passed to me. No big deal.
Wow.
I was in the competitive queue. So that's why that happened.
Yeah.
And I also had, what is it? The bird. I don't want to call it a bird. It can be a bird. The Monarch. It's a green. It costs 5, and it can have flying. It can have hexproof depending on your creatures.
What is it? Myriad?
Yeah, Myriad Monarch or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a crazy weird card.
I had someone play that against me. It was very good.
Yeah.
And like its power and toughness are equal to twice the number of creatures that you have.
Yeah.
So when it was played against me, it was like an 8/8.
Sick.
And it got flying at the beginning of combat every turn. It's like, yep, okay.
I mean, the green deck has access to a lot of stuff at common that's going to allow it to cast huge creatures before you should be able to cast them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like Sifter Worm is a thing in this deck, which is a 7/7 with tramps. And then when you play it, you scry 3, reveal the top card, you gain life equal to that card's CMC, which is for mana cost, big secret. And I played against our friend Sam, who you might know from the last episode talking to us about Peasant Cube, and he revealed another Sifter Worm with that. So basically he cast a Palaka Worm on me.
Nice.
Brutal.
Real nice.
So the key to this deck is definitely getting like those 2/4s that tap to add 2 colors of mana with Exert, or not 2 colors, 2 mana of the same color, that sort of thing. And Aerial Guide.
Or 1 without exerting.
Yeah, 1 without exerting. Aerial Guide is a little 2/2 flyer that when it attacks, it gives another attacking creature flying. So you're just like flying in with your giant 7/7 or your enormous trample hippo.
Yeah.
Oh my
5/6
God.
trample hippo.
Rough.
I played a blue-green deck that was a desert deck.
Nice.
With Hour of Promise.
Wait, Megan! We said Hour of Promise was a real poop scoop.
Yeah, you know what? If you pick up 5 or 6 deserts, which I did, I had 6 deserts in this deck.
Yeah.
It's totally fine, because you're always going to, I never cast it and didn't get my zombies.
That's so cool.
And I also had cards that wanted me to be ramping with something like that. Like I had Hour of Eternity, which is the blue XX spell that you eternalize X creatures.
I splashed for that card the other day, by the way, in a field deck.
For triple blue?
Yes. And it was actually fine.
Yeah. It was great. I brought back 5 things one turn.
Oh my God.
it was absurd. I also had a river hoopoe in that deck, which hoopoe is great. And then when you eternalize it, it's a 4/4.
Wow. And then you just play 5 draw a card?
Huh? Oh yeah, you pay 5 draw a card. That deck was also super sick. It had one of my favorite rares from Amonkhet, which is New Perspectives. Just draw 3. It's a rare that says 6 mana, draw 3, and I'm like, I'm here for this. In my deck. Yeah, I will play it all day. Scaled Behemoth. God, that card is still unbeatable. Just brutal.
Just unbeatable.
Yeah, my opponent had so many more creatures on board, but they couldn't attack into me because it's like, what are you going to do about this 6/7 that I played on turn 5?
And you know what? The striped, Sidewinder. I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, yeah. The striped serpent or some kind.
Some kind of stripy serpent.
Like blue for cycling.
Yes.
And then 7 mana.
For a 5/5 hexproof serpent.
Yeah.
So
quite good.
This is what I want to happen. Someone to build the crocodile serpent deck and then put on 6 cents onto these things. And then maybe, I don't know, Cartouche of Knowledge. You've already won the game at this point, but it would just be cool.
Very true.
It would just be cool. Speaking of deserts.
Yeah.
I know we said that this set was like, hey, deserts are going to matter way more than they did in Amonkhet. Because in Amonkhet, they're kind of like, oh, this is a desert lake. It's fine. Yeah. Whatever. But now you certainly have a reason to play the deserts a lot more. And I think that they can be fairly high picks in draft.
Absolutely. There's certainly not something that you like. There's something that you have to consider when you see it because there's a very good chance it will not come back to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can cycle them if you need to draw cards, so that's really handy. And then they turn on a lot of cards that ask for deserts in the graveyard or on the battlefield. And the 0/4 Wall of Pharaohs, that's the name of it, Wall of Pharaohs, that taps and pings for 1 if you have a desert in either of those zones. That's a good card. I love that card.
Absolutely. When we were talking about this, like, what is it? Striped Riverwinder or something like that?
Gosh, now it's bugging me. Now I need to know.
Anyways, I had a deck that had a card from Amonkhet also that's like 3 in a blue, bring back 2 cards with cycling from your graveyard.
Oh yeah, Sacred Excavation.
Yeah, so I had Lay Claim and then 2 of those and then like some of the hippos and stuff. And it was an amazing deck because I would just cycle those all early. It's like, oh, I can just cycle this. Yeah. And then later on when I need a big finisher, I'll bring it back. I'll like draw 2 big finishers. I'll like basically draw a Lay Claim and a hexproof Striped Riverwinder.
Striped Riverwinder. There it is. Great. By the way, the art on this card, really cool because it's kind of more sort of like anime style, I would even say.
Yeah.
But
very like a little bit more old school in its illustration style.
And a bloody river.
Yeah, it's in the blood river that we talked about.
I hadn't really taken a look at the art on the swamps in this set, but
blood rivers, all of them.
Oh boy, blood rivers.
I mean, what is a swamp but a river of blood?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure, sometimes.
Seems about right.
Overall, Megan, what would you say about the speed of the format? Because Amonkhet was known for being fast beatdowns.
I think it's definitely slowed down, which isn't to say that you can't get aggroed. I've certainly gotten aggroed by a red-black deck. I had a deck that had fling in it and got me for like the last 6 points, and it's like, all right, that's a thing. Or Inferno Jet or something like that.
Right.
But I do think that there's a little bit more room.
There's room.
And there's also cards that let you plan around not getting aggroed, like God-Pharaoh's Faithful or something like that.
Right. So I think the format is kind of wide open at this point to do whatever you want to do. We'll see if it narrows down after the Pro Tour. That's always kind of when people are like figuring it out for sure and then trying to just hone in on the best draft strategy. And of course, draft is like something that's always evolving. Even if after the PT, people are like, oh, it's only aggressive decks and you have to draft this red-black deck and then just beat down. Or whatever, then people are going to draft a deck that can deal with that deck effectively, and it kind of like the evolution.
Or too many people try and draft it,
right?
And then it's just not as good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So let us know how you've been doing with Hour of Devastation Limited. You can tweet at us at MTAcast, or just think it really hard, and maybe it will get into our brain.
Maybe it'll get to us. You should at least give it a shot.
You should at least try. Try right now. Are you trying? Are you trying right now? Try harder. Try harder.
Hey everybody. It's Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, Storytime.
Storytime!
What's happening on Amonkhet? Well, only bad stuff.
We told you last time to tuck yourselves in and have a teddy bear, but the story turned out to be not appropriate for children.
That's correct. Unless you want your kids to know right now the hard truths about dying.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
gotta learn sometime.
exactly. So I think the last time we were here, we talked about Razaketh making the river all made of blood.
Yes, I remember that vividly.
And the scorpion god just taking Ronus out.
Yeah.
Just, stinger to the head.
Yes. Oh, brutal.
Okay, so, in the next one, you get to see Kefnet and Oketra fight the scorpion god.
Okay. Why are they all question?
Yeah.
Why are they all going after one? I mean,
Well, because the scarab god at this point hasn't really been doing anything. He's still outside the gates.
Okay.
And the locust god has just unleashed all of the locusts.
Okay.
So they each have their job. Right, the scarab god, you don't know his job. Yeah, we'll get to it this time.
Okay.
The locust god is taking down the Hekma, the protective barrier, with his locusts.
Okay.
With its locusts. And the scorpion god's job seems to be to take out the other gods.
wow. Okay.
So that's why they're all fighting the scorpion god.
Okay,
Because
got
it's
it.
the one that's coming for them.
Got it.
So Kefnet, oh sorry, I have a sesame seed in my teeth.
Bagel update. Meghan has gotten this far. If you're on the
I've gotten
video,
pretty
you
far.
can see how far she's gone.
I only have a little quarter of it left. Anyways, okay, so wait, before we continue,
Yeah.
do you know what really bothers me?
What?
Is people who eat bagels like a sandwich.
Ooh, who does that?
I don't know, but I think it's a thing.
Oh my god, that's too much.
Yeah, how can you bite a full bagel? Do you eat your bagel like a sandwich? Please tweet at us what that experience is like.
Because eating a bagel like a sandwich is like eating a sandwich, but only the butt sides of the bread, but 10 of the breads compressed into one.
Yeah, it's
maybe
so
even
dense.
more than 10.
It's so dense.
I could
And
not
there's
do that.
not enough cream cheese to bagel ratio at that point.
Oh no.
So anyways,
Certainly
that has-
no one has ever eaten a bagel like a
certainly
sandwich.
no one has ever eaten a bagel like a sandwich. And I'm not talking about a bagel sandwich where there's actual sandwich things in the middle. Don't even try. I'm talking about cream cheese.
Yuck.
Okay.
No.
So that has a lot to do
My
with Hour of
body,
Devastation.
my body just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Like this,
That's
this
what
to
I'm
me,
saying.
if I'm holding something like this, I'm gonna eat it and expect a sandwich experience in my mouth. If I'm doing it like this and all I get is a big cream cheese, I'm just not ready for it.
Yeah.
I need it on an open-faced bread
Yeah.
item.
Yeah. So,
Context.
anyways.
Yes.
Hour of Devastation. So, the scorpion god Oketra and Kefnet are we need to take care of this scorpion god. And so they team up.
Okay.
And they're fighting him together. And the scorpion god
Blue-white.
is still just really just beating him up. And then Kefnet, it looks like Kefnet's been injured by the scorpion god. His wings all messed up. And so, so the scorpion god goes in for the attack, but it turns out it was all a bluff. And Kefnet flies away, and then Oketra shoots the scorpion god. And the scorpion god just explodes into a bunch of crumbles like dry sand.
Whoa.
And everyone's like, yay, they got him. And Kefnet and Oketra are nice teamwork. And then the scorpion god just reassembles.
Oh my god.
All of that sand that fell apart just goes and is there again.
Horrifying.
So and then the scorpion guy kills Kefnet. Just while Kefnet is high-fiving Oketra, essentially. They're not really high-fiving,
What a
but
way to go.
they're basically
Mid-high
high-fiving.
five.
They're about to high-five, and the scorpion god is just and Ronus, right through the head, right through Kefnet's head.
Wow.
And everyone's just oh god.
Brutal.
Ugh. And then Oketra and the scorpion god fight, and then the scorpion god gets Oketra also.
Yeah.
And Gideon cries. He doesn't cry in the story. It doesn't
I
talk
mean-
about him crying, but he's around and you imagine that he's crying.
But remember when he met Oketra and it was kind of a vibe of he was
Exactly.
super into
he's
her?
super into he's super into Oketra in a spiritual way.
Oh. Okay.
And so, he watches this god die.
Yeah.
And is, you know, pretty heartbroken about it. As you can imagine, everybody's just like, it describes like, you know, when every time a god dies, the other gods feel it and all the people feel it.
Yeah.
You know, like a big dark hole opening up in their souls.
It's like whenever somebody doesn't eat the last pizza roll and then it just goes bad and it was on the counter, like I feel it.
Maria, one time I walked into
My
your house
soul.
and there were week-old pizza rolls in your toaster oven. And if you're all thinking that that's a story I just made up, it's not. That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
I didn't get to all of them.
So it's like that feeling.
Yeah, and that was
that
like,
I felt when I walked into your house and saw a toaster oven full of uneaten, disgusting, moldy pizza rolls.
whoa. A pizza roll is never disgusting, even when covered in mold. A mother can never not love her child.
So right, it's like, you know, like the little candle of their souls have all been snuffed out every time one of these gods bites it.
Okay.
And so that happens, right? And then that's all one story. Oh, and that's the story where Hepatra, it turns out, is just like a total badass.
Oh yeah.
This is Hepatra, Vizier of Poisons. So she like poisons the edges of her blades with like this poison that destroys the central nervous system.
Whoa.
So that even when she stabs zombies, like, you know, you can't kill them because they're the undead.
Yeah.
But then they can't move.
Oh, that's
'Cause it
pretty
just,
good.
you know.
Resourceful.
Exactly. She's resourceful. She has a giant basilisk that she rides. That's like her basilisk familiar, and they go through the streets together, just like fighting and killing and just getting everybody. But then she has to watch Ketna and Oketra die. And she's pretty distraught about it.
Rough.
So yeah, Hepatra turns out total baller. She's probably gonna die. Don't get attached. Yeah. Vizier of Poisons. Great. I wish that, you know, she could just ride her basilisk through the streets of Amonkhet forever.
She'll be riding it and whatever. And well, I don't even know if there's an afterlife.
I don't know what
anymore.
their afterlife is like. Yeah, because this was apparently it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happens, and then Nicky B is there.
Nicky B there.
comes in, and Hazaret is so mad. Hazaret's just like, you know. Hazaret's just like, what is this nonsense?
She has a lot of fury.
Exactly. And Hazaret's just like, maybe this is testing all of us. But then she sees this, you know, terrible dragon who's just, Nicol Bolas lands, looks at all of this terrible stuff going on and just like grins. He's just like, yeah.
We got there.
I did this. And Hazaret sees him and just like, we've been betrayed. This is terrible.
This is like Nicol Bolas has still had all these moments.
Yeah, exactly. And Nicol Bolas is like, yeah, I still had all these. Yeah, so, and then Bantu comes up and Bantu's like, oh, Bolas, you're back. You know, like, didn't I do such a good job, like, maintaining all of the, like, you know, all of my siblings' false memories? Turns out Bantu was in on it. Bantu was in on it because she's the god of ambition. So she was like, it was her ambition that got to her, you know?
What a little butt kisser.
She wanted to be the best. And so
Kissing dragon butt.
And then Bolas is like, yeah, now your job is to kill Hazaret. And Bantu and Hazaret just like fight. And then Bantu basically like almost kills Hazaret. Hazaret is like encased in this like tar stuff essentially.
Wow.
And Bolas is like, nice job, Bantu. And then Bolas kills Bantu. Which is where you get Bantu's last reckoning. Like, right, Bolas hits her with some real bad magic. And Bantu in like her last moment just like, you know, goes all out. And also like releases Hazaret from the tar stuff that was killing her.
This is why you don't get in bed with a mob boss.
Exactly.
Because in the end you're gonna end up
you're just
dead.
gonna end up dead. So it's so Hazaret's still alive. Bantu is now dead. Nicol Bolas is like, good job, Bantu. That was your last job because now I'm killing you. Yeah, so then we get Bantu's last reckoning. Hazaret's still around, although she hasn't done anything in a couple of episodes. And then the most recent one, it was just like a montage of the people of Amonkhet dying.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a bummer of epic proportion.
It really is. So, like all of these, I don't know what's the word that I'm looking at. Not like mausoleum, but like all of the like, you know, places where all of the, like the Eternals, all of the bound mummies were kept. This is the Scarab God's job, where the Scarab God goes and it like they're all like end up encased in this like blue, you know, scarab like armor.
Wow.
So yeah.
Creepy.
So all of the Eternals come out, and they are like basically have this impenetrable scarab skin. Now they're not bound up. They're in blue. They're like all blue.
So are there survivors? Are there still people like trying to?
I mean, there's people trying to fight, but like the last episode was basically just the people who are left getting killed by the Eternals as the Eternals run through the city. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to die in Amonkhet right now, and you just watch a bunch of people die like that.
Sure. I guess if you're into snuff films.
Yeah, that's basically what it is for the last one. People just getting stabbed. There's God-Pharaoh's faithful. Great. She's just like she's the person at the top who's like watching all of this at the top of the story, who's like watching the army of Eternals come out, with their blue scarab shells. Essentially, they're like new exoskeletons, and she's like, "This is great!" And they all surround her, and she's just like, "I'm gonna die at the hands of these!" And they all stab her, and she's like, "Yay!"
Wow. Commitment, I guess.
Yeah.
Something to be
She's
said.
like real into it.
Weird.
She believes it the whole time.
But none of our planeswalker buddies have bit it. They're like out and about doing things right now.
Who knows? They haven't been around for a little bit.
Okay.
Except for when Gideon was sad about Oketra. So yeah, who knows what they're doing?
I can see it in my mind now. Gideon just like up against a pyramid, soft music playing in the background. A single tear falls, but evaporates before it can hit the sand.
Yeah. Because it's hot. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of like more of the ways that people died, but a lot of them just get stabbed by Eternals. Like one of them picks up one of Hazaret's arrows and like manages to kill a couple of Eternals with it. And then goes, and sees Nicol Bolas and tries to throw it at Nicol Bolas. And at the last second, Nicol Bolas like turns and sees it, and it just like breaks and falls to the ground.
You know what I gotta
and then
say?
that person gets murdered by a bunch of Eternals.
As you do.
Yep.
This set plays out very well story-wise with the cards.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm like, I guess Innistrad is very strong like that as well, but this is like, I feel like when I'm playing with the cards that the story is happening.
Yeah.
So for instance, there's that 3/1 white card that gets prevent all damage that would be dealt to it when it exerts.
That's this person.
Yeah.
That's exactly this person, because that's like Oketra's spear, and they're like running, and like this, they get this shield around them.
Oh yeah.
And then they throw it, and then like Nicol Bolas sees it, and the arrow breaks, and their like faith breaks, and then the shield goes away, and they get killed by a bunch of Eternals.
Yeah, so it just feels very flavorful, very desolate, situation based on the cards and stuff. So that's really cool. So props to whoever made that happen, because it's kind of a immersive game experience.
And that's where we are with Amonkhet Storytime. Maria, we wanted a plane just wrecked.
And we're getting it.
We're getting it. We're really getting it, guys.
Is there any hope?
No. I think Amonkhet, the answer is no.
It's gonna be left just like it's gonna be like doomed.
I don't know that there's gonna be anything
just
left
some
of it.
Sand
it seems like
worms.
the way that we're going, the idea is that there's nothing left.
Wow.
And that the Eternals, it seems like probably Nicky B's plan is to go, somewhere with them all.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We will.
Well, with the release of a new set comes making a standard corner a little less standard, or a little more standard, I guess.
A little more standard. It's every bit as standard as it always is, except the content is different.
That's right. And we've got new cards, so we're going to see how the decks of the format are evolving. We're very early in the game here, but we're starting to see some interesting things happening.
Certainly. We have still seen, of course, some Teamer Energy and some Teamer Dynavolt Tower decks, which were around beforehand.
Yes.
And, they're still around now.
They've got a couple other new fun tools that are at their disposal to use.
Absolutely.
So I can imagine that those decks are going to kind of stick around and still be good.
We've got a mono red deck.
Yeah.
Which went 5-0 in a competitive standard league this week. This deck, just doing its thing, where it's like, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play a bunch of red creatures, and I'm going to beat you up with them.
So you're playing creatures like On Crop Crasher, Earthshaker Kenra.
Nice, very nice.
Hazaret's in this deck as well.
Absolutely.
Kari Zev. All right.
So, if you're looking to get aggressive. There's certainly a way to do it.
Aggressive.
Get aggressive. There's also some blue-red and some Grixis control decks running around.
Oh, really?
With cards like Hour of Devastation in them. And of course, in the Grixis version, Nicol Bolas.
I'm so happy people are making Nicol Bolas into standard decks. I hope they turn out to be good.
I think some of the concerns are that the mana is, like, the mana base for it isn't quite as ideal as you would like it to be.
Why not?
And so they're really, just because, like, the types of dual lands that are available.
Sure.
Don't necessarily support it. So a lot of those are looking like either your, straight up blue-red.
Yeah.
Like the old control decks, but with, like, maybe a couple copies of Hour of Devastation. Or it's like that, but you're only black for Nicol Bolas. You're not playing other black cards. Yeah. Really.
So there's a deck that we both tried a little bit on Magic Online that was before Hour was released, was kind of being toyed around with, and I think it's still happening today. So people are still seeing if it's going to be good.
Deck that people are playing,
and that is white monument deck. So you can either do mono white or blue white, as the case might be, and you're using Okketra's Monument to help you make a giant army of soldiers, and it's a pretty neat deck. Really cool.
So what is interesting about this deck is that obviously Okketra's Monument makes all of these spells that you're casting even cheaper.
Yeah.
So being able to get someone with a spell queller that you're casting for blue-white is
pretty
just,
good.
like, very good.
Yeah.
It also plays Cloud Blazer in the blue-white version, which casting a Cloud Blazer to draw 2 cards and gain 2 life for 4 mana.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good. It also uses Bygone Bishop, 4 copies. This is a 2/3 that whenever you cast something that has converted mana cost 3 or less,
draw some cards.
You make a clue token.
Oh no, that's make a clue token. Sorry.
It also plays a card like Dusk to Dawn.
Dusk to Dawn, so you just kill everything, and then you only get your stuff back, and everybody else can just have their stuff be dead and like just deal with it.
Yep.
Here's another interesting one.
Yeah.
That we stumbled across in the 5.0 list of Magic Online. It's an Eldrazi deck.
Yeah.
They're still around. Newsflash.
Hey, they are, and they're still pretty powerful.
Yeah, and they've it's added tools like a braid to this deck as well, and it's got like Eldrazi Obligator, which I haven't thought about for about 100 years.
So this is more of this is an aggressive Eldrazi deck.
Yeah.
It's also playing 4 Matter Reshaper, some Reality Smashers, 4 Thought-Knot Seers, 4 Glory Bringers, interestingly enough, and some Handwear Garrisons. So this is like an Eldrazi aggro deck.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I was toying around on stream. If you want to watch us, another best kept secret in the Magic community is our stream, which is twitch.tv/magictheamateuring.
Yeah.
Go follow us if you want to be notified when we are streaming. And I just thought it would be fun to build a cat horse deck.
Yeah.
Because that's just a funny idea to me. And I did. I have 4 copies of Pride Sovereign in this deck. We had 4 life-linking little 1/1 kitty cats, and we had 1 horse. Okay. 1 crested sunmare.
Yeah.
And then just everything else was a cat, basically. Like Feral Prowler was in this deck. Was it? Yes. And then the 3/1 Initiate's Companion was in this deck.
Yeah.
And then some removal spells. Anyway, what happened is that the deck turned out to be okay. Like, it was not great, but I would call it pretty good. It was like it was missing one thing. It was missing one tool that would have made it great.
What was the tool, do you think?
Let me think. We talked about it. Did we talk about this on last show or on the stream when you're like, what was one card you would want to be legal and standard? And I said Bramaz.
Yeah.
And I think you could definitely take a Bramaz.
Yeah.
I'll put that out there. But it was really funny because nobody expects the Crested Sunmare. And I brought in more out of the sideboard.
Yeah.
And it was just great. And I was making indestructible horses. And for some reason, it's just hilarious. So it's like, oh, you have a 5/5 indestructible horse? Oh, well, I can't do anything about that. Unless I'm playing Hour of Devastation, in which case I can do everything about that.
In which case I can do literally anything.
Yeah, but
nice.
Gideon was in there. Oh, yeah, Nissa, the 3-mana Nissa was in this deck.
Oh,
to put 1/1 counters on all of your little dudes that you're birthing with a Pride Sovereign. So... it was just kind of fun. Waits to be seen if it turns out to be good. As I said on the stream, I'm putting all my hopes on Craig Wesco to make this happen for us. So Craig, if you're listening, get your brewing hat on, which I'm sure you already have on, and make this deck happen. Look, we need it. We need it. And one like final deck I wanted to mention, just because I think people are brewing with it, is a God-Pharaoh's Gift Gate to the Afterlife deck. Ooh. So this was brought to my attention by Frank Karsten, Dr. Frank Karsten, who wrote an article about magic math and Hour of Devastation on Channel Fireball. And like, I love Frank's articles, especially the ones about math and magic, because they're so interesting the way he like looks at cards, and he doesn't just see them for their playability or what decks they could fit in. He wants to figure out all the different mathematical equations that make this card good under what scenarios, when should you play this, how many lands do you need to play to make this good, etc. So what he did was he built a blue-red gift deck that's running things like Gate to the Afterlife and God-Pharaoh's Gift, as we mentioned. Cards like Insolent Neonate, Minister of Inquiries of all things, Trophy Mage is in this deck as well. Striped Riverwinder makes an appearance, and Hollow One. So I think this is kind of just an interesting little brew here that Frank's put together. So he says, in the right deck, you should be able to fetch God-Pharaoh's Gift on turn 4 or 5 with reasonable consistency.
Wow, and that's a powerful card.
It is a very powerful card.
Absolutely.
So yeah, remains to be seen what's going to be the breakout deck of this format. But if you guys are brewing anything cool, if you gals are brewing anything cool, send us a message, because I want to know what we should be playing around with. I mean, we're going to be playing Denver, Megan.
Yeah, we are.
And when is Denver? Oh, yeah.
It is the weekend of August 19th and 20th.
So somebody's got to make me a deck that's not a control deck. A lot of good control decks running out there right now. And I'm counting on you out there. Please help. It's a tradition in Flavor Text Theater. The first time we do Flavor Text. It's a Flavor Text Theater tradition that very recently after a set is released, we play movie pitches.
That's right. So we're going to crack open this pack of Hour of Devastation. All of the cards inside will go to one lucky patron at the end of the month, along with some other sweet stuff. So if you're not a patron already, you've still got time, friends. And we're going to give you some sweet movie pitches based off the titles of these cards.
All right. Crack that pack, Megan. Make sure your crack packing fingers are opening an invocation.
Oh yeah.
What if
I've opened one recently.
Oh, okay. So your fingers are tired.
Exactly. My fingers are, they only have so much magic in them.
I feel you.
All right.
Ooh, you did pull the nice island.
Full art, beautiful island.
The islands are so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay.
They're very, very pretty.
Beautiful.
All right. Here we go.
All right. Just picking a card randomly here, and we're going to make some movies based on the card names, or art, or whatever we feel in our hearts about these cards.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the story of a woman who in her youth was very, or like when she was like not in her youth, but like just out of college, got a job with the military.
Okay.
And was in charge of, she was like specifically about making different plans. But she really bungled a big operation.
Okay.
So actually it's not with the military, but it's like with the FBI. And she really bungled a big like her first big operation, and she lost all of her confidence.
Yeah.
And so since then, she's only ever made plans, but like not had the courage to execute any of them.
Yeah.
And so it's just like most of the movie is about her just like making these elaborate plans and then never having any of them come to fruition. But finally, there's like one big job, and she was like a genius at this. She just made a miscalculation the first time out.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you have to do this because you are the only person who can plan this.
Wow.
And she does it. She takes it on.
Yeah. And
even though she's so afraid, but she totally gets it. It's called strategic planning.
Strategic planning, the best part of having any job.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Strategic planning.
The worst. All right, this movie is kind of like a child inspiration film in which there is a little kid that lives with their parents, and she and her parents are just the worst. So they're like, all the rules all the time. You can only eat broccoli. You have to go to this school where they tap your knuckles with a ruler, and you can't have any fun. But what she doesn't know is that every Saturday she sneaks out of her prearranged grounding in her room room to go see her aunt, who is like this crazy artistic lady. It's kind of like a, Miss Frizzle sort of type from the Magic School Bus, in that she's crazy and they go on all sorts of adventures together and do all sorts of things. And then, of course, she ends up back in bed at 10 p.m. Her parents none the wiser. And eventually her, at the end of the movie, her aunt is granted, custody over this child because, I don't know, they realize the parents are just BS. So
kind of like Matilda.
It's kind of like Matilda, but I failed to mention that this aunt's name is Kendra, but the name of the movie is Defiant Kendra. Really had to reach for that one. I would have watched that as a child, though. Anyway.
So this is a film that's kind of analogous to to something like Braveheart,
Ooh,
right? Where
okay.
it's about we'll say it's set in a fictionalized version of kind of like the different battles that have happened within the United Kingdom.
Okay.
By the other like Scotland and Wales inside of there, where it's there's like the minority power has been like fighting back against the people who are trying to conquer their land for forever and ever and ever, but they haven't been getting anywhere, right?
Okay.
Like their borders keep shrinking back and back and back as they lose more ground to this country that's coming in and invading them, and but then they find like one warrior who just completely turns like the ideas and the strategy on its ear, and then they manage to win a couple of key battles. It's called Unconventional Tactics.
All right. I mean, I'm watching it. It's getting made right now, I guarantee you.
Yeah, it's already getting made.
This is a movie. It's kind of like a documentary. It's meant to be a documentary, but it really takes a turn somewhere within the first 5 minutes. It's about David Lee Roth, who, as you all know, is in the band, a famous band.
Yeah,
that
which you definitely remember.
Knows. He has long blonde hair. And
member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Van Halen. Okay, so it's a documentary about David Lee Roth and his Van Halen days, but soon you realize it's not a real documentary because David is made of lava. And it's the trials and tribulations of David Lee Roth's life, as if he had been made of lava the whole time. Like he can never really truly have love, because if they get too close, they can't touch him anymore because he's burning rock. Anyway, the name of this movie is Magma Roth. It's terrible. It's a horrible movie. Never go see it.
So this one is kind of like we'll say it's. All right, we'll come back around to like what it's analogous to, because I forgot both my reference points.
Okay.
But it's about a team of archaeologists, and they're excavating an Egyptian tomb. Yeah. And like they take all of these artifacts out, despite being warned by people like, you shouldn't do that, like bad things have happened, and they're just like, those are all old wives' tales. It's totally fine. Like, we want to study them. So they take out all of these artifacts from like the main tomb that's in there, and then terrible things start happening to them. They start falling really ill, or they're in horrible accidents, and the surviving ones are like, put all of the things back, but bad things keep happening to them, and they don't understand why. And then they realize it's because it's not like the main tomb that they had excavated. It's because this tomb had actually been created over the graves of a whole bunch of pharaohs who had come previous to that one, and all of them are not they're not necessarily trying to wreak havoc on the archaeologists. They're trying to wreak havoc on the remains of that pharaoh, because they're so mad that he came and just built his tomb on top of them and buried them so that they were unknown to history. So it's kind of like The Ring, where they have to let people know about these forgotten pharaohs in order for them to stop being tormented, because they just want to be remembered. It's called Wall of Forgotten Pharaohs.
Wow. I could see that. Brendan Fraser's definitely in it. This is another movie about archaeologists, actually, and it's kind of another sort of twisty kind of horror suspense movie. And they are excavating a site in Egypt, as you would, only things get a little strange really soon off the bat after the movie starts. They're excavating, they're like, wait a second, no Egyptian people had Apple Watches. Oh, that's so weird. Why did we excavate this Apple Watch? Oh, that's so weird. Like, here's a shoe, and it looks just like the shoe you had, Dave. And soon they realize they're excavating their own excavation site. So it's like all of their artifacts are their own, but they've been buried under this. I mean, like, it's real Inception, like mind, censoring myself, but like that's what it is, and they've got to figure out how did they come to excavate their own burial site.
Whoa!
Survivors encampment.
That's a film already. They're making that film right now. That film is currently in production.
Don't know how it ends, but that's definitely how it starts.
You're gonna have to watch it. It'll be out any day now. Okay, so this one is like your Van Halen movie.
Yeah.
This one is about the band Kansas.
Wow! Name one Kansas song.
Carry On My Wayward Son.
There we go. That's it.
That is the one song by Kansas. But it's about this brief period in time where the lead singer of Kansas had vocal nodes and was unable to sing. And had to have, this is like before he had surgery performed on these vocal nodes.
Yeah.
It's called Carry On Screecher. And it is relevant that the song that you know by them is Carry On My Wayward Son.
I'm glad I asked the right question there.
Yeah, absolutely you did.
This is another horror film. I'm just in the horror movie mood, and it's one of those involving young children who are dying all over the town, and nobody knows what's going on. But it's only little girls. It's only little girls.
Okay.
And people are like, oh, this must be some kind of child killer who's out killing girls or whatever, some horrifying thing. And then a little boy dies, and it's the first one, and they realize what has been killing them all in the town. There was a witch who long ago lost all her hair in a fire. And so she's very jealous of all the young girls who have beautiful, lovely locks. And whenever they put them into a plate, they're strangled by it. And the boy who died was the only boy who had long hair in the town. It's called a braid.
Why?
Ooh, that one was painful.
Okay. So this one is this is the you remember the film We Bought a Zoo?
I mean, I remember that it exists.
You remember that it exists?
Yeah.
I also have never seen it. This is the follow-up. This is the sequel called Rampaging Hippo.
My other two cards I just pulled were Kenra Eternal and Kenra Scrapper, and they're just sequels to Defiant Kenra. It's like the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can pull an original one here. Ooh. Man, I'm just like in the horror movie mood because I want to make this one a horror movie too. Mm-hmm. This is one that's basically... it's in the style of M. Night Shyamalan's famous and indisputably great work, The Happening. And what's happening is not the trees, spoiler alert, are getting revenge, but the water is getting revenge on people. Yeah. So it's killing them in various ways. In the shower, they drown. They get their garden hose like strangles them like a cobra.
Yeah.
They choke on an ice cube.
Why not?
And it's called Unquenchable Thirst.
Okay, so this one is a mashup of like the story of Marie Antoinette and Beauty and the Beast. Where it's about this like essentially Marie Antoinette character who just can't like she starts accumulating all of these things and all of this wealth.
Yeah.
Because it's not about making herself feel better by having things, but it's because she's always felt like so inconsequential. And she feels like she's always been in danger of just like, if she doesn't have all of this stuff around her, people will like cease to remember that she exists.
Whoa.
So it's her way of sort of being like, I'm here, I exist.
Yeah.
By like surrounding herself with overwhelming splendor. But then she realizes that, you know, making other people feel insignificant, like ones, is not the way to go.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet mythic rare that we've pulled. I guess your hands weren't too tired from opening that invocation. What did you open the other day, by the way?
I opened a what is it? Slaughter Pact.
Ooh, that's right. Slaughter Pact.
Real sweet.
All right, these cards are going into our pile of cards to give away to a lucky patron at the end of the month, which is fast approaching. So get over to patreon.com.
Really scarily fast approaching.
/MTAcast and put your name in the proverbial hat for the drawing for all of these playmats and other prizes that we will draw for as soon as next episode. Oh my gosh. So yeah, get over there and do that. Well, humans and the non-humans, that's the end of this show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week. As you always do, it's good to have you around. As we said earlier, we'd be just talking into a void if you weren't there.
That is correct. And that would be sad, weird, and creepy.
Even though if you're a void, you're enough.
That's right, you basketball hoops of the world.
Enough.
You're enough.
Remember to go to patreon.com/MTAcast to support the show. Good luck. Have funds. Something somebody said to us recently when they donated, and I just loved it so much.
It was so delightful.
That I made a little piece of art out of it. So thank you for whoever wrote that to us. It was quite lovely. And yeah, funds are what ensure us, are what keep the show going and ensure that we can keep doing more episodes for you week after week. You can see the fruits of our labor over on YouTube as well. youtube.com/MTAcast, where we put up videos every week. We've got a new My Roommate is a Planeswalker up this week.
That's right.
Involving one of somebody's favorite planeswalker.
A certain
planeswalker.
Nightmare Weaver.
So get over and watch that episode. I just love it.
It's by far one of the best costumes I've ever made.
Oh my God. It's so great. It's so great.
It's delightful.
Thank you, of course, as well to cardkingdom.com. Head to our affiliate link, cardkingdom.com/MTAcast, to buy anything you need for Magic. And it's also just a great site. They have a blog, all sorts of things up there that you can peruse at your leisure when you're at work. You're supposed to be working. Check out cardkingdom.com/MTAcast and tell them to put a sticker in your order. As we said, right here, this is what you'll get. Boom.
Look at that sweet sticker.
Just for saying so. cardkingdom.com/MTAcast. So yeah, we've got exciting things coming up on the next few episodes.
Yeah, we do.
Oh boy. We're going to try and get them out there to you. Here's hoping the internet in Japan is good. But I hear they're in the future, so it should work. Not only literally from here.
Literally in the future from here. That's what you meant.
But also, they've got, like, people say going there is like going to the future because they've got so much cool stuff. But anyway, that will be where half of our episode is coming from next week, so make sure you tune into that. And until then, I mean, get your play on. FNM, Magic Online, random store stuff.
Go Monstars!